Alright everyone, Kit here, back with part 6 of this article here. Alright, let's continue reading. Article 65. Responsibility in the case of loss of articles. The loss of registered COD article involves the responsibility of the Postal Service under the conditions laid down by Articles 56 and 57. Article 66. Guarantee of sums regularly collected. The sums regularly collected from the addresses, whether or not they have been converted into money orders or turned over to a current postal check account, are guaranteed to the sender under the conditions laid down by the agreement concerning money orders or by the provisions governing the postal check service. Article 67. Indemnity in case of non-collection, insufficient or fraudulent collection of the COD charge. If an article has been delivered to the addressee without collecting the amount of the COD charge, the sender is entitled to indemnity, provided that the inquiry has been made within the period of 1 year prescribed by Article 53, and unless the non-collection is due to default or negligence on his part, or unless the contents of the article come under the prohibitions laid down by Articles 34 and Sections 4 and 6 and 46 Section 1. The same applies if the sum is collected from the addressee is lower than the amount of the COD charge indicated, or if the collection has been made fraudulently. In no case may the indemnity exceed the amount to be collected on delivery. The administration which has effected a payment of the indemnity is subrogated up to the amount of such indemnity in the rights of the person who has received it for all eventual recourse against the addressee, the sender, or third parties. Article 68. Sums regularly collected, indemnity, payment, and recourse. The obligation of paying the sums regularly collected or the indemnity referred to in Article 67 falls upon the administration to which the office of origin of the article belongs, subject to its right to make a claim against the responsible administration. The provisions of Article 69, Pyramid for Payment. The provisions of Article 60 concerning the pyramids of payment in indemnity for the loss of registered article are applicable to the payment of the sums collected or the indemnity for the COD articles. Article 70. Fixing of responsibility. The payment by the dispatching administration of the sums regularly collected or of the indemnity provided by Article 67 is effected on behalf of the administration of destination. The latter is responsible unless it can prove that the irregularity was due to the failure of dispatching administration to observe a provision of the regulations. In case of fraudulent collection as a result of loss of the COD article in that service, the responsibility of the administrations involved is determined in accordance with the rules laid down by Article 61 for a loss of a registered article. However, the responsibility of an intermediate administration does not participate in the COD service is limited to that prescribed by Articles 56 and 57 for registered articles. The other administrations pay the amount not covered in equal shares. Article 71. Repayment of sums advanced. The administration of destination is bound to reimburse the administration of origin under the conditions prescribed by Article 62 for the sums of which has been advanced on his behalf. Article 72. COD money orders and transfer bulletins. The amount of a COD money order for which for any reason has not been paid to the payee is not repaid to the administration of issue. It is held at the disposal of the payee by administration origin of the COD article, and finally reverts to that administration after the expiration of the period prescribed by law. In other aspects, and apart from the exceptions laid out by the regulations, COD money orders are subject to the provisions of the agreement concerning money orders. When for any reason a transfer bulletin issued in accordance with the provisions of Article 63 cannot be entered to the credit of the payee indicated by a sender of the COD article, the amount of such a bulletin shall be placed by the administration which has cashed it at the disposal of the administration of origin to be paid to the sender of the article. If this payment cannot be effected, the procedure outlined in Section 1 is followed. Article 73. Sharing of COD charges and fees. The administration of origin credits the administration of destination under the conditions fixed by the regulations, with a fixed quota of 20 centimes per COD article, plus 1/4% of the total amount of the COD money orders paid. Retention of posters against transit charges. Article 74. Retention of postage. Except in cases expressly provided by the Convention, each administration retains the whole of the postage which it collects. Article 75. Transit charges. Articles of correspondence exchanged in enclosed mails between two administrations by means of the services of one and more and other administrations, their services, are liable for the benefit of each of the countries transverse or in which services participate in the conveyance, to the transit charges indicated in the following table. And here's another graph here. The transit charges for maritime conveyance on a route not exceeding 300 nautical miles are fixed at 1/3 of the amounts set forth in Section 1. If the administration concerned already receives, on account of the mails transported, compensation for territorial transit. In the case of maritime transit affected by two or more administrations, the total maritime transit charges may not exceed 4 francs 87 times per kilogram of letters and postcards, or 67 times per kilogram of other articles. When the occasion rises, those maximum amounts are divided between the administrations taking part in the transportation or in proportion to the distance traversed. Bearing contrary agreement, maritime transportation effected directly between two countries by means of ships of one of them, as well as conveyance effected between two offices of one and the same country through the intermediary services of another country, is considered a third service. Small packets, newspapers, or packages of newspapers and periodicals sent by virtue of the agreement concerning or subscriptions to newspapers and periodicals, as well as insured boxes sent by virtue of the agreement concerning issued letters and boxes, are considered as other articles in regard to transit. Missent dispatches are considered in regard to the payment of transit charges, as if they had followed their normal route. Article 76. Freedom from transit charges. The following are exempt from all territorial or maritime transit charges: the correspondence sent free of postage mentioned in Article 49, replied postcards returned to the country of origin, redirected articles, return undeliverable articles, return receipts, money orders, and all other documents relating to the postal service, particularly correspondence related to postal checks. Article 77. Extraordinary services. The transit charges specified in Article 75 do not apply to transportation by means of extraordinary services specifically created or maintained by one administration at the request of one or more other administrations. The conditions of that class of conveyance are fixed by mutual agreement between the administrations concerned. Article 78. Payments and accounts. The cost of transit is borne by the administration of the country by origin. The general accounting for such charges is effected on the basis of statistics taken once every 3 years. During a period of 14 days, that period is extended to 28 days for dispatches exchanged less than 6 times a week through the services of any country. The regulations determine the period and length of the application of the statistics. Any administration is authorized to submit a board of arbiters for the consideration of the results of the statistics which, in its opinion, differ too greatly from reality. Such arbitration is effected in accordance with the provisions of Article 11. The arbiters are authorized to determine the proper amount of transit charges there to be paid. Article 79. Exchange of closed mails with warships. Closed mails may be exchanged between the post office of any one of the contracting countries and the commanding officers of naval divisions of warships of the same country stationed abroad, or between the commanding officer of one of those naval divisions or warships and the commanding officer or another division or ship of the same country, through the intermediary of land or services or other countries. Correspondence of all kinds comprised of all dispatches shall be exclusively addressed or sent to or sent by the officers and crews of the ships of destination or origin of the mails. The rates and conditions of dispatch applicable to them are determined, according to its domestic relations, by the postal administration of the country to which ships belong. Bearing contrary agreement between the administrations concerned, the postal administration dispatching or receiving the mails in question is indebted to the intermediate administrations for transit charges calculated in accordance with the provisions of Article 75. Article 80. Failure to observe liberty of transit. When a country does not observe the provision of Article 26 concerning liberty of transit, administrations have the right to discontinue postal service with that country. They must give advance notice of that measure by telegraph to the administrations concerned. Article 81. Obligations related to penal measures. The contracting countries undertake to adopt or to purpose the respective legislative bodies the necessary measures. For punishing the counterfeiting of postage stamps, international reply coupons, and postal identify cards. For punishing the use or placing in circulation of counterfeit or used postage stamps, as well as counterfeit or used impressions of stamping machines on printed indica. Counterfeit international reply coupons, counterfeit postal identity cards. For punishing the fraudulent use of regular identity cards. For prohibiting and suppressing all fraudulent operations of manufacture and placing in circulation of embossed or adhesive stamps in use in the postal service, which are counterfeited or intimidated in such a way that could be confused or embossed with other or adhesive stamps issued by one of the contracting countries. For preventing if occasion arise, punishing the insertion of opium, morphine, cocaine, or other narcotics in mail articles in favor in which such insertion is not expressly authorized by the convention and its agreements. Alright, I'm going to end it off here, and I'll see you guys in the next part. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.